Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to work with our shoulder strength and mobility.
Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe.
We're going to work with a piece of dowel or a broom handle. Let's use this behind our back to get a sense of alignment. Bring it between your inner heels, along the tailbone sacral region and the middle back to the back of your head, and you'll get a sense of obviously what parts of the body are not touching the dowel. See if you can lengthen your tailbone down, get a bit more length here in your lumbar spine, and you're holding the dowel there into the sacral region as the crown of the head is lifting up. So we're standing in Tadasana. The arms are slightly internally rotated as we're holding the dowel, so notice that positioning in your shoulders there. And see if you can maintain that positioning long in the lumbar spine and bring your dowel forward and hold it with your hands. I'm going to turn around now. So you're holding your piece of dowel. It can be a little wider than shoulder width for now. Raise the arms up and pull on the dowel in such a way that it feels like you're trying to break the dowel. You're trying to rip it in half. Right hand pulls away from left, left hand pulls away from right. And keep your lumbar spine long, tailbone down, navel up. Firm up the thighs, press your thighs back, your buttocks forward. And see if you can maintain this action as you bend your knees for Utkatasana. So as you bend your knees, keep the navel drawing up from the pubis, navel pulling back towards the back abdominal wall, and you're resisting the arms and the dowel away from the floor. So you're keeping your shoulders open, not letting the arms come forward. The arms are on the same diagonal line as the torso. Then stand up as you inhale, lower the dowel, lower your arms, take a couple of breaths. What's helpful sometimes is to use the dowel behind the back body so that you can feel what you're doing in your Utkatasana. So if you bring your dowel again into the sacral area, when we stand, we've got that neutral lumbar curve, but when we come down into Utkatasana, keep your dowel on your sacrum and your middle back and see if you can fill up this space here. There's a subtle action of drawing the sit bones towards your knees as you lift the navel up and back towards the back abdominal wall so that your lower back comes more into contact with the dowel. So then you've got a straight back and you're working the mid-body. So see if you can have that awareness when we stretch the arms up again in Utkatasana. This time, hold your dowel shoulder width if you can. Raise the arms up as you inhale. So you're in Urdhva Hastasana. Step to the side so I don't hit the wall. Tailbone down, navel up. Inhale. Exhale as you bend the knees. So come into Utkatasana. But as we're working with our shoulder strength and flexibility, pull on the dowel as if you want to break the dowel in half and resist the forearms, resist the dowel away from the floor. Keep squeezing the inner legs together and drawing the navel up and back towards the back abdominal wall. Then stand up as you inhale and lower the dowel as you exhale. Take a couple of breaths. Now, let's take the dowel behind us. We'll take the feet apart, hip width apart. Can provide perhaps a bit more of a relaxed stance and definitely more stability. So if we hold the dowel, let's hold it. I'll do the opposite to you. I'll mirror you. You hold it with your right hand just above the head there and reach back with your left hand. So the left hand's coming into the small of the back, the lower back. The right hand's pretty much on top of the head. So similar to Gomukhasana, one arm is up, one arm is down. But notice again, if you are going into your lumbar lordosis, can you resist the spine back towards your dowel and towards your hand that's in your lower back? And then press the hands back. So that hands are pressing backwards, elbows are pressing backwards, and pull on the dowel as if you want to break it. So your right hand is pulling up and your left hand is pulling down. And then bring the dowel back to your body. Let's swap. So you can take the left hand back, hold the dowel, forearms parallel to the floor. And as the right hand comes back, that hand comes into the small of your back, your lower back, you're holding the dowel. And pull on the dowel as if you want to break it. So left hand is pulling the dowel up, right hand is pulling the dowel down. But again, remember your lower back. Draw your tailbone down, lift your navel up. Keep your lower back long and broad, and then pull the dowel away from you. Press the elbow tips back and go on feeling like you're pulling on the dowel to break the dowel. And keep breathing. And then bring the dowel back to the body and release to rest. Relax, find neutral, soften your gaze. I've now put my piece of dowel away. I'm wanting us to work on shoulder protraction, of the shoulder blades, protraction and retraction. Now, that term's meaning what the shoulder blades do on the back. So protraction, we're broadening the shoulder blades on the back. Retraction, we're drawing the shoulder blades back in towards each other. And to give us a good feel for that, we're going to come down onto the hands and knees and set your wrists underneath your shoulders. And then just allow your body to collapse down. So it's as if the shoulders are coming up to hug the ears. And you'll feel then the shoulder blades are retracting, they're coming in towards each other. Then as you drive your arms and hands down into the floor, you push away from the floor as if you want to dome the back. Yeah, the upper back will round a little bit. Feel how your shoulder blades broaden. They spread from the midline down towards the sides of the body. So that's protraction. So again, come back into retraction. You let your body settle down and the shoulder blades come more in towards the spine and push away from the floor and get that feeling of broadening the shoulder blades. And all the while, try to keep your lower back neutral. Yes, we're not letting the back collapse there. Contain the abdomen, draw the navel to the back abdominal wall. Again, exploring the retraction, shoulder blades coming in towards the midline, and then you push away from the floor, the protraction. Again, retraction and protraction. All right, and then come back onto your knees, rest the arms for a moment. We're going to take that awareness of the shoulder blade action into a variation of Chaturanga Dandasana, but we're going to use the wall. So come to stand up, and perhaps you take your mat to the wall, and we'll set the hands. We're going to use our fingertips, not the palms. So if you can create little cups with your hands, fingertips just a little lower than the level of your chest, and step back. Lift your heels up, so you're on a slight diagonal, tailbone in, pubis and navel up, abdominals engaged. Now push away from the wall so that your shoulder blades are in protraction, and then you draw into the wall a little bit, shoulder tips are rolling back and your shoulder blades are in retraction. Then bend your elbows as if you're going to do Chaturanga Dandasana, but lift your sternum up and push away from the wall. Come back into shoulder blades broadening into that protraction, and then come into, before you bend the elbows, come into retraction, shoulder blades coming more in towards each other. Bend the elbows, resist the shins away from the wall, straighten the elbows, again broaden the shoulder blades as if you're rounding the upper back a little bit. Once more, draw the upper sternum forward, shoulder blades in retraction, and bend the elbows and push off the wall, and have a rest there for a moment. Let the arms relax. We move the mat away from the wall. We're on our knees. We're ready to come with more weight bearing on the hands as if we're doing Chaturanga Dandasana. However, we'll keep the knees on the floor just so that there's more awareness in what we're doing with our shoulders. Sometimes if we work with the legs straight and all our body weight coming into our arms, we can lose some awareness, lose some of our capacity to restrain the shoulder tips from collapsing to the floor, particularly if we're not so strong. So come onto your hands and knees and take the knees back a little bit now. with your shoulders coming vertically top your wrists. You're creating a straight line from shoulders through pelvis to knees. Just watch your hips aren't lifted. Draw your tailbone in and engage the abdominals, upper breastbone forward. Then slowly bend the elbows, but notice here you want the elbows to stay in and the shoulder tips to resist away from the floor. Feel the shoulder blades are in retraction. Draw the shoulder blades back in towards each other and then push away from the floor, and let's come into protraction. So you can round the back a little bit to really get a sense of that. And then retraction, draw the upper sternum forward, pelvis forward, tailbone in, bend the elbows, come back down through your Chaturanga positioning, shoulder tips resist away from the floor, and then push away from the floor, go back into the protraction of the shoulder blades. We'll do one more. So before you go to bend the elbows, get those shoulder blades into retraction, engage the abdominals, tailbone in, and slowly come down. Resist the shoulder tips away from the floor, then push, and let's have a rest in Urdhva Hastasana. Rest your forehead on your forearms as you keep your chest long. So you'll note the distinction between doing this and pose of the child. If you've got the arms alongside the body, then the chest isn't as long. So we want to keep space around the heart. We've been working the heart, doing our chaturangas. Keep the heart area long and broad with your arms forward. And then when you're ready, you can come to sit up. Now, of course, there are numerous ways of strengthening the shoulders and promoting pliability, flexibility in the shoulders in our yoga practice. We just touched on a few today. If you enjoyed practicing with me, I invite you to check out my website. I've got a very extensive video library with over 390 full-length classes. They are an hour or an hour 15 minutes long. heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. Head over there and check it out. You can start with a 7-day free trial. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me.
For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.